90% of you are going to fail. That is not a guess. It is a documented, cold-blooded statistical fact. But here is the part that should actually keep you awake at night. Most of you will not fail because of a bad product. You will not fail because your logo was the wrong shade of blue or because you posted on LinkedIn at the wrong time of day. You will fail because of a single invisible mistake that is currently draining your bank account and wasting your life's energy. You are committing it right now. In fact, you probably think this mistake is actually your greatest strength. It is the silent killer of the American dream. And if you do not identify it in the next 10 minutes, you might as well pack it in and go back to your 9 to 5. Because you are not building a business, you are building a tomb. I see it every single day. A bright, ambitious entrepreneur spends 6 months locked in a room. They are grinding. They are hustling. They are obsessed with the vision. They spend $10,000 on a website, $5,000 on a trademark, and countless hours perfecting a product that nobody asked for. They launch. And then, silence. No sales, no traction. Just the sound of their own heartbeat and the realization that they just set their life savings on fire. This is not a tragedy, it is a choice. You are making that choice right now by ignoring the one thing that actually matters in the market. The mistake is simple, yet lethal. It is called building in a vacuum. It is the psychological trap of falling in love with your own solution before you have truly understood the problem. You are guessing. You are projecting your own desires onto a market that does not care about you. The market is not your mother. It does not want to see you succeed. It does not care how hard you worked. It only cares about its own pain. And if you are not solving a specific bleeding neck problem, you are irrelevant. But before I show you how to fix this, you need to understand why your brain is literally wired to sabotage you in this exact way. Most people think the biggest risk in business is financial. It isn't. The biggest risk is psychological. It is the sunk cost fallacy mixed with pure, unadulterated ego. You want to be the CEO. You want the business cards. You want the founder tag in your Instagram bio. So you do the things that make you feel like a business owner instead of doing the things that actually make you one. You focus on the theater of entrepreneurship. You buy the software. You design the aesthetic. You avoid the one thing that feels uncomfortable, talking to real human beings who might tell you your idea is garbage. This is where the curiosity gap widens. Because even if you think you have a great idea, the way you are executing it is likely ensuring its demise. You are scaling your ego before you have scaled your value. And by the time you realize the mistake, it will be too late. Your runway will be gone. Your spouse will be frustrated. Your friends will be whispering behind your back about how they knew it wouldn't work. Is that the future you want? Or are you ready to hear the uncomfortable truth about what the top 10% of successful founders do differently? The top 10% do not launch. They validate. They don't build features. They build conversations. They understand that in the US market, attention is the most expensive commodity on earth. If you are trying to buy that attention with a finished product that doesn't fit, you are going to go broke. The hidden mistake is the lack of product market fit validation before the first line of code is written or the first shipment is ordered. You are essentially trying to build a skyscraper on quicksand because you like the view. But here is where it gets even more dangerous. Even if you have a decent product, you are probably making the efficiency trap mistake. You are trying to automate things that should be manual. You are trying to use AI to solve a problem that requires human empathy. You are hiding behind your screen because you are afraid of rejection. This quiet killer isn't just a lack of strategy, it's a lack of courage. You are choosing the safety of your home office over the volatility of the marketplace, and the marketplace rewards the bold, not the comfortable. Now let's talk about the pivot. How do you stop being a statistic? How do you move from the 90% who fail to the 10% who dominate? It starts with a total psychological shift. You must kill your darlings. You must be willing to take your brilliant idea behind the woodshed and put it out of its misery if the data says so. The solution isn't more hard work, it's more intelligent work. It's about the minimum viable feedback loop. The roadmap to salvation is counterintuitive. It feels wrong, it feels slow, but it is the only way to build something that lasts. Step 1 is the pain audit. Stop looking at your product and start looking at your customer's credit card statement. What are they already paying to solve? If they aren't already spending money on a clunky, bad version of what you offer, they probably don't need your elegant version either. People don't buy nice-to-haves in a high-interest rate economy. They buy must-haves. They buy fire extinguishers, not incense. Step 2 is the smoke test. Before you build the thing, sell the thing. If you cannot convince 10 people to give you money for a landing page or a prototype, a finished product won't save you. This is where most of you will quit. You'll say, but I need the product to show them. No, you don't. You need to be able to articulate a transformation so clearly that they feel stupid saying no. If you can't do that, your product is just a paperweight. Wait, you think it's just about the product? It's not. There is a second layer to this mistake that is even more subtle. It's the identity trap. You have tied your self-worth to the success of this specific idea. So when the idea starts to fail, you don't pivot. You double down. You throw good money after bad because admitting the idea was wrong feels like admitting you are a failure. This is why businesses die slowly. They don't explode, they bleed out over 3 years of tweaking and refining something the world never wanted. You need to detach. You are the scientist, not the experiment. Your job is to find the truth, not to be right. The moment you value the truth more than your ego, you become dangerous. You become a real entrepreneur. Because now you aren't guessing, you are calculating. You are looking at the US market not as a playground for your creativity, but as a complex machine that you are learning to operate. If you are still watching, it's because you know I'm talking to you. You feel that tightening in your chest. That is your intuition telling you that you've been playing business instead of building one. You've been focusing on the logo, you've been focusing on the vision, you've been ignoring the fact that you haven't had a real cold call conversation with a potential customer in 3 weeks. You are in the vacuum, and the vacuum is where dreams go to suffocate. So here is the intervention. Stop. Put down the website builder. Close the LLC registration tab. Go to where your customers live, whether it's a subreddit, a Facebook group, or a physical trade show, and listen. Do not pitch. Listen. Find the gap between what they have and what they need. That gap is where the money is. That gap is where the 90% never go because it's messy, it's loud, and it's ego bruising. The quiet killer is arrogance disguised as passion. You think your passion will carry you through. It won't. Passion is the fuel, but the market is the road. If there is no road, you're just a guy with a gas can standing in the dirt. You need to build the road first. You do that through radical, brutal, and immediate validation. This is the fork in the road. You can click off this video, tell yourself I'm being too harsh, and go back to your comfortable vacuum. You can spend another 6 months polishing your ghost ship, or you can take the solution roadmap I just gave you. You can embrace the discomfort of the marketplace. You can seek out rejection until you find the yes that actually means something. And the difference between the person who makes $1 million and the person who loses 50,000 isn't intelligence. It's the willingness to be wrong early and often. The 90% fail because they try to be right. The 10% succeed because they try to be useful. Which one are you? The reality of the American market in 2026 is that it is more crowded and more skeptical than ever. You cannot trick people into buying. You cannot hustle your way out of a bad fit. You have to be the solution to a problem that is already screaming for help. If you aren't hearing that scream, you aren't listening hard enough. You have the tools, you have the access, you have the opportunity, but do you have the humility to stop building in a vacuum? Do you have the guts to kill your current strategy and start with the customer instead of the product? If you do, you might just survive. If you don't, well, I'll see you in the statistics.